Hey, what's happening, my collie friends, my collie beasts? Paul Ingram here. Today, I want to show you some exercises that I like to incorporate in my training routines, in my fitness training routines, for those times that when you're not swinging a stick or a sword or a knife or something like that, but you still want to train and gain some more benefits to your skill enhancement in your collie practice. So let's go over these fitness exercises. These are some of my favorites. Hey, why learn sword fighting? Why learn stick fighting? Because it's freaking fun and it's cool, okay? Look, don't worry about any of those types of questions. If you enjoy it, do it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it and go do something else that you enjoy. But questions like that, don't take too much time pondering on because it's kind of dumb questions. It's kind of like, why do anything then, right? Like, why do soccer? Why run? Why bake a cake? I mean, why live, right? Like, because it's something to do, and it's something that you enjoy. It's fun. It keeps you active. It's interesting. Whatever, man. Whatever. All right, let's get to it. All right, first exercise up. We're going to come down here to the ground, and we're going to work on our wrists and start improving the mobility in our wrists. That means not only flexibility exercises, but we also need to do it in a way that builds strength at the same time. All right, so one of my favorite exercises to do is what we call wrist pressing. And this is where we're going to work on the extension of our wrists in these different positions. And we're just going to press the wrists into the ground. This is great to do as a warm-up as well. If you're kind of just getting started right before you're gonna really hit hard in your collie training, just spending a little bit of time doing some wrist presses is a big help in developing that wrist flexibility. And you're gonna see I'm just kind of rotating here, pressing down, all that. You can kind of come further away from your body, you can come closer to your body, and just play around with where you feel that your wrists need the most work. Then we're gonna go into flexion. So I'm gonna put the back of my hands on the ground now, and we're gonna do the same thing. We can rotate them, just kind of turn them around. And it's good to do this outside and get dirty, okay? Wear your collie. And then you can alternate between your extension in your wrists and then your flexion. And just by doing this, just for a little bit, a minute or two, about 3-4 times a week, greatly enhance my wrist flexibility. Okay, then we're going to come into this flexion right here, and we're going to close our hands and open our hands. All right, and then we're going to come up on our fists. We're going to roll our wrists out and then come up. Try to keep your elbows straight on this. Okay, don't let your elbows bend. Keep them straight. All right, and then I'll come out a little bit. Then we're going to rock forward and then bring it back. So we're just kind of hitting all those different directions in our wrists. And I like working this out outside because you get a little bit of conditioning as you're working out on all these sticks and twigs and little thorns and stuff like that. That targets our wrists. Let's work some spine and core work. Our first one is we're gonna come into our classic cat-cow position. So from here, we're gonna extend and then go into flexion. Extension and flexion. Breathe in, breathe out. And when I go into my extension, I like kind of really pulling my tailbone away from my head. And when I go into my extension, I like to really push the ground away from me through my hands. And when you're doing this, you can play around with the position of your hands as well. And you'll feel how that starts to activate the forearms a little bit more. Because in Kali, because we're using weapons, there's so much activity in our grip, in our hands, and in our forearms. So every chance we have, we want to make sure that we're working our grip and our forearms. The strength, the flexibility, and the mobility. Okay? And then from here, we're gonna come into a squat, nice deep squat. If you can't come all the way down with your heels on the ground, then just kind of slide some books or something underneath your heels and bring your heels up and just come down into the squat as best as you can. And from here, we're gonna kind of press against our knee and then bring our hand out behind us and just work some rotation in the spine. It's a nice basic rotation here. You can take this whole video here and just put all these exercises into a routine, and it could just be like your warm-up for your normal gym routine or fitness routine. And you get to get all the Kali benefits. They're going to help improve your Kali training, your Kali skills, and your game. Okay, then we're going to come up and reach up to the sky. I don't really have a set number. I just kind of go for whatever feels good. But if you like having numbers, just shoot for, I don't know, 15, 20 reps. If your heels come up off the ground, that's fine. No big deal. All right. Then from here, I'm just going to kind of come into this pray position and just pry my knees apart. Open up my thighs a little bit. And if you got that, then I'll bring my fists together. Remember, this squat position here, this is not an exercise, okay? This is a natural human resting position. You should be able to come down into the squat and just rest here and just kind of chill. Like, I'll eat my breakfast here. Sometimes I'm just kind of in the morning, just come down to my squat, eat my breakfast, check my emails, whatever. You know, just kind of come down and chill out right here a little bit. All right, now we're gonna work on some lateral extension. I'm gonna bring my hand to the side here, kind of behind me, and then the other hand's gonna reach over all the way and try to touch the ground in line with your hand. Okay, and then we're gonna come back to the other side. And you'll feel a nice stretch all the way through the lats and the side of your body here. try to move over a little bit better angle for the camera. Gotta go over this guy. That made it more challenging. Alrighty. All right, let's work on a little bit of core activation. And there's two ways to work some core activation that I find is really good for your collie. And there's the pressing and then the hanging. And what we're going to shoot for is L-sits. So for an L-sit, we're going to do the press variation first because that's what I got right here. Got my little parallettes right here. And we're just going to come up, extend our feet out, and press our way into this L-sit. If you can't L-sit with your feet extended, then just bring your knees up and just work it right there. Take your rest. In the beginning, you want to try to shoot for 5 to 10 seconds. Just hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. And over time, gradually build that hold up a little longer, a little longer, a little longer. Okay? So from there, you're going to press up, bring your knees up. So you're doing a tucked L-sit. Then you can progress to extending one leg, then eventually extending two legs. Great core activation, plus get a little bit of that tricep isometric right there, and then in your shoulders, pushing everything down. Let's head on inside and do the hanging variation. It's actually about 90 degrees out right now, but I love it. I love it hot when I'm working out like this. It's just fantastic. So I don't have a pull-up bar right now, so I gotta make do with what I have just kind of around right now. So I'm gonna use my door header right here. And look, it doesn't matter if it's a bar or rings or a header like this, whatever. But just gonna hang it and then bring your knees up for the tucked variation. Or extend your legs out for the full L-sit. And again, you're just going to hold that for time, shooting for 5 to 10 seconds in the beginning, and then gradually build your way up to that. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll start off in the L-sit position, and as I'm kind of getting tired, don't want to give it up yet, I'll come back, regress to the tucked, and hold that for as long as I can. Great core activation, plus we're getting some of that hip flexor movement in there, that flexion in the hips, which is really, really important in our collie practice. Look, be creative like this. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym membership. Okay, you just gotta look around, see what's available to you, go down to the park or see what's around at the house. And where there's a will, there's a way. And if you want to train and want to get better, then you're going to find a way to do it. If you don't want to train and you don't want to get better, then you're going to find every excuse, every reason not to do it. So since we're right here, let's go into the next exercise, which is pull-ups. Pull-ups are super important because in collie, all of our strikes, right, they're all being activated from the ground and the hip rotation and the torso rotation, but also from the lats. So we want to build up and strengthen our lats and get that activation. First thing we can do is we can hang. We just kind of come into a dead hang. You can have your feet lightly on the ground. You can take your feet off the ground. I know you can't see my feet right now, but you can just hang, and that's going to give you another really good stretch, decompress the spine, really stretch out the shoulders and the lats, because that flexibility is really important. And when we look at the athletic attributes of collie, we have coordination, agility, and flexibility. Really, really important. That's going to lead into the combat functions of speed, timing, power, all that stuff. So spending some time just kind of dead hanging Really, really good. Just let your shoulders kind of relax and drift up to your ears. And just hang for time that you can reach. If you got to start off with 5 to 10 seconds, that's a perfect place to start. And then you can make it a goal. Let me hang for 20 to 30 seconds, all the way up to a minute, 90 seconds, whatever, right? Like you can just progress that. So once we have the hang, we want to make sure we can move into our pull-ups. And the way that I like doing my pull-ups, I don't want to do them from this vertical position like this. Because when we do them from the vertical position, we're putting most of that time under tension in the shoulders, and we're not really activating our lats fully. So what I like to do is I like to kind of extend the back a little bit and get my chest facing the bar, facing where I'm pulling up from. Now when I pull up, I'm getting that full lat activation right there. So again, grab onto whatever it is you're doing your pull-up on. Bar is probably a little bit easier than this because I'm literally just relying on my finger strength. But from here, get your chest looking upwards at your bar, then pull up and pull your chest up to your bar or obstacle, object, whatever. And then come down. Okay, and there you have your sets of pull-ups. If you cannot do a pull-up yet, that's okay. Work on your negative pull-ups. You're going to jump up to the top of the pull-up, and then you're going to slowly lower yourself down. Okay, and you'll do that for your set. Whatever, if it's 3, 5, 10, whatever your sets are, then you go for that. So as I'm doing my pull-ups, part of my workout, say I'm trying to get 5 pull-ups, right? And say I'm on my last set, and I'm coming through 1, 2, 3, and I can't get the last 2, then the last 2 I'll do negatives. So that would be 4. And 5. And that's going to help to improve your pull-up game as you're continuing on building your strength for that. And again, the focus isn't really to get good at pull-ups, though you're going to get better at pull-ups. It's to activate these lats and get them activated just like we're striking our weapons and our collie. Okay, legs. Start conditioning our legs, getting some strength, but also getting that mobility in our legs, in our hamstrings, and also in our hips, both flexion and extension. So we have our long lunge. I love doing this one. This is one of my favorite ones. Normally I would walk this, but for camera, I'll just kind of go alternating. But from here, I'm going to step out with 1 foot all the way. And then I'm going to bring myself into this deep lunge as much as possible. Trying to keep my back straight. Then kick it back up and work the other side. Come into that deep lunge. Try to keep your heel on the ground and try to get your hamstring to meet your calf. And we're going to try and kick this back heel out and keep this back leg as straight as we can. And then come back. Okay. We'll lean into it. Now from here you're getting that hip flexion, full flexion in the front hip, and you're getting this extension opening up on the back hip. So typically what I like to do, see if I can do it on the camera here, is I like to walk this that way I'm getting a little bit of that squat coming out of it. Let me do it again. Come into your long lunge, and then you're going to push up. Step into your long lunge, and then push up. So you're building that hip flexion and extension in the lunge itself, getting that more mobility. But then as you come up, press up, you're pressing up from that position of disadvantage, so you're working a lot of that strength as well. Especially as you train it outside on uneven surfaces. Which is why I like training collie outside. Like the end of my heel, it's not even touching any ground here. So that challenges the balance. As you can see, sometimes I'm kind of toppling over. That's because my foot's not perfectly flat on the ground, because the earth it's not like a nice flat gym floor. So it activates all those little stabilizing muscles, especially in the knees, and you're gonna kind of get like the benefit of 3 exercises in one. You're getting the stabilizing in the knee, strengthening your knee. You're getting the squat, right? Because you're coming down, you're getting the lengthening, the full hip health, and then you're getting your squat by coming up, just like that. So you're really getting a lot of benefit just out of this one movement here, the long lunge, and that's going to be very helpful in your collie. Now, that is working on the linear plane. Let's take a look at how do we work now on the lateral plane, because in collie, we have a lot of lateral movements across the 90 degrees as well. The linear movements are going to help you on the center line, but they're also going to help you on your triangle footwork when you're moving left 45 on reverse triangle, and then you're coming back in on the forward triangle. Right? When you have control or mastery and command within this full range of motion here and here, okay, then when you're moving around athletically, explosively, you're using maybe half that range of motion, and you're so much more stronger and agile through all those planes right there of motion. So it's kind of like turbocharging your footwork by doing these select exercises. So when we look at the lateral, because there's so much lateral motion here in collie as well, moving left and right, we're going to take a look at the Cossack squats from here. So I'm going to step out, and then I'm going to come down, and then come back up and switch sides. So there's 2 variations for this. Let me come a little closer. You can do your Cossack squat with your toes pointing up. That's kind of a little bit easier. Or you could do your Cossack squat with your feet flat on the ground. Get a little bit more of that ankle mobility in there. Okay, right there. So it's really going to help, again, open up those hips on those lateral motions right here. Okay. Now you can also work this more dynamically, where you step into it, come back up, and then step into it and come back up. Both variations here. Work it nice and controlled. Work that full range of motion. And again, that's going to build that mobility while enhancing your strength and your flexibility. You need both to improve your overall mobility. All right, our next 2 movements are a pair from our primal movements, what I like to do. And this is some of our basic crawling patterns. And the reason that I like these is it builds the whole function of the body, but connected as a single unit. When we're just walking and we're just running, we're using a lot of that human movement, which is really important to do. You should absolutely be walking, running, jogging. You should be including those activities in in your weekly training. because our footwork in Collie is based off of running, right? We're moving very rapidly through our footwork patterns, but we're moving in multi directions. But we're not just moving our legs, right? We're swinging weapons, single weapons, double weapons. So we want to have this full unity, this connection in our body from the four limbs and connected through our torso. And this is what these crawling patterns give us. It gives us a lot of strength, a lot of mobility, a lot of stabilizing strength throughout the entirety of our body. So check this out. I challenge you to try these. So we're going to come down in a quadruped position, meaning on all fours, but I'm not going to let my knees touch the ground. I'm going to keep my knees about 1 or 2 inches hovered above the ground. So all of my weight is in my hands and in my feet, or in my hips, really. So shoulders and hips. And I'm going to be using opposite foot, opposite hand. So contralateral motion. So right hand, left foot. Right foot, left hand. And we're just going to crawl this in one direction, moving forward. Yeah, you can go about 10 steps or so, and then you can crawl it back. Right there. So that's what we call the cat crawl or the beast crawl. And you can go slow or you can go fast. But the idea is you want to make this as smooth as possible. Okay? Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to come into the crab position. It's like we used to do this stuff when we were little kids. You know, we got to bring that youthful mentality back into our practice. You know, nothing more limber. There's no humans that are more limber than, you know, kids. When you're a little kid, that's like the most limber you'll ever be in your life. So if you want to have limberness, you got to play like a kid. So from here, we're going to go into our crab position. We're going to bring our shoulders back, open up the chest, and lift our butt off the ground. And again, opposite leg, opposite hand, and we're going to crawl forward. Just go about 8 to 10 steps, and then go backwards. Okay, you can turn around and basically just play around in these crawling positions. You can go slow, you can go fast. And then you can figure out how to switch and then alternate between the two. And we have our basic crawling patterns that we're using the ground to give us strength and to be able to manipulate our body, you know, using our own joints, our strength, our mobility. But again, the whole body is operating as a single unit. All right, so I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sweating just by making the video. I'm not even really doing the workout. Now, yes, it's 90 degrees out, and it's like 85% humidity, so that has something to do with it. That just makes the workout better. I love working out in hot, humid weather because it like makes you work harder, but it does something for the mind too. I find it's so much harder to work out in the heat and humidity than it is in the cold. So you get some of that mental toughness training when you're working out in this stuff too. But you can just work through this whole video, this kind of whole little routine, and just go for rounds. Now, that was round 1. And the video takes a lot longer to film, to make, than the whole routine does. Because you're doing it back to back. There's no rest. You're just going back to back. And by the time you're done cycling through and you're on the crawls, then the rest for the crawls is go back to your wrist presses and work that. And just work, 3, 4, maybe up to 5 sets. Or do like 1 to 2 sets as your warm-up to whatever your regular fitness routine is. Or you can even do 1 or 2 sets as your warm-up to your Collie training session. Or do 4 to 5 sets, and then this is its own Collie specific workout. If you like videos like this, and if you want to see more workouts that I have, more exercises and things like this, let me know down in the comments, because I have a whole bunch of stuff that I do that is specifically geared towards my Kali training. It's not all just swinging sticks. You got to spend time, obviously, training the skills, but you got to do maintenance work on your body, and you got to do improvement work on your body. And sometimes we need to give, the shoulders and these swinging motions and all this, we got to give these a rest. But that doesn't mean that we take the day off. Okay, we can still do workouts like this that are beneficial to our training, beneficial to our skill growth, beneficial to our body, and also our overall health, which is really the whole main purpose of training Kali. Yeah, you have your self-defense and your fighting and all that and whatever, but in today's day and age, it's just a really good way to keep your body and your mind strong, sharp, and healthy.